We as Christians have to face the fact that we live in a world that is post-Christian.
God had only one son, and He made him a preacher. And He sent him forth to preach the gospel of the kingdom and called men and women to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
If the message of the gospel is going to go forth, if the world is going to hear, the gospel cannot be perverted. It has to be preserved. And the gospel cannot be held back. It has to be proclaimed.
And the concern is, but how can everyone love me? How can I say it so that it doesn't land like a dead fish? How can I say it so that they all continue to be my friend? Well, I'm sorry, it's a feature, not a bug. They're not all going to like you. Truth makes its own enemies.
And this is why it's so easy not to preach the gospel, because you can avoid the clash.
If you do something to enrage the culture, then you must have done something wrong, is simply wrong-headed. Jesus said, "Beware when all men speak well of you."
We're not here just to do good things for the sake of doing good things. Well done, good and faithful servant, for pretending, deliberately not mentioning Jesus or the Bible every time you spoke, and just doing good things for the sake of it and letting people win the whole world and lose their soul. I don't think that's how it's going to go.
What do you want? The applause of the crowd now, or the well done, good and faithful servant at the end of history?
Do you care enough to shine the light into their darkness? Do you understand they have no hope without it?
And if I love these people, Muslim, Buddhist, every sort of people on the planet, if I love them, I'm going to preach to them a very defined doctrine, a very defined redemption, a very defined God.
Because if Satan can't take away your faith, he might be able to intimidate you to such a degree that you're paralyzed, that you're not quite as bold as you were before.
We must preach the gospel, not a gospel. And I don't preach one gospel to one group and another gospel to another, because all men are the same. The God I preach is the same, and the gospel they need is the same.